In January of 2013, I was at work and my boss was berating me, and all of a sudden I felt my arm and I kind of tripped, and something immediately told me that I'd had a stroke. And I kept trying to convince myself, this is going to go away. This is temporary. You're strong. It's just going to go away. But in my mind, it said, you've had a stroke. And I just knew there was this peace that came over me that I was going to be okay. I directed him to call my husband. I said, get my son down here. Don't let him drive. I mean, I had a real peace, calmness about me. And I was in intensive care for 3 days. I'd had a hemorrhagic bleed stroke. And then I was in recovery, or actually in rehab, for 30 days after that. And that's when the journey started. And honestly, I think if they told me what it was going to be like, I'd have tried to escape at that point. But I've made the best of it. So that's kind of like a background of what happened.
What was your experience with the device?
I think there was a lot of positive things about it. Kind of felt like I had a therapist at home with me. It made me really realize that this other arm was still attached, because sometimes as a stroke survivor you kind of disassociate with yourself with that part of the body that's not functioning properly. And it made me aware of that, and it made me, say, Deb, you can use this arm, it's there. I think it allowed me some stretches and some strengthening, especially of the wrist, the up and down motion there, and stretching of the hands, the actual digits.
Yep. 1 second. Sorry for someone. Mm-hmm. What about the device was different from your initial expectations?
I think I thought, like all we stroke survivors, I'll speak for myself, that it would be an immediate fix. And nothing about this condition has been an immediate fix. And I think I set higher expectations than probably the device could initially deliver. But that was on me, not on the device, nor on the staff that made the presentation of the device to me. That was on me. I think I had over expectations.
How would you describe the device to a fellow stroke survivor that is considering getting the device?
I'd say it's a very, I think it's user-friendly when it's specifically designed for your deficits. I think it's intriguing. I don't think it's too simplistic, but I think there's still some fun about it. It's not like all the doom and gloom. It's got a nice presentation about it. And I have to compliment the staff because they kept trying to customize it to my needs and my application. I believe it's user-friendly. You do not have to be a IT person to use it. And I think that it eventually would give you the feedback. I think there'd be reports that you could see your progress. And I think that's what's really important to a stroke survivor is those, you set the goals with the staff and to meet those small goals little by little, because that's when you've had a stroke, there's so many things that you're told that you can't do. You need all those successes, those small successes. But I would say it was very user-friendly. Probably a little bit more heavier than someone with a deficit like myself with an arm, to move it around, but you don't really need to be moving it around initially after you get it set up. So I think I really appreciate the opportunity and know that there's devices that after the physical therapy money's run out, you still have the ability to, get back up to what's the norm, whatever norm is for you.
What did you like most about the device?
I know I'm immature, but I like the graphics. They had a couple of men that looked like Mr. Clean. I think the initial piece of equipment that I had was, it was easy to understand. As we later developed, to kind of make my deficits, the verbiage got a little bit more complicated, traverse some things. But I like the availability that you could exercise and work on your deficit as much as you wanted to. You didn't have to make an appointment. It was in your house. I like that. The ease of operation and the availability. I like that about it.
Who would you recommend this device to?
I and again, I'm a marketing major and a stroke survivor. I guess that's what gives me, the ability to talk about it. I really think it's good for someone like myself. I'm 5.5 years out of my stroke. I think it's good for someone that already has some mobility in their shoulder and probably their elbow, and I think that will give a faster rate of success. I think those are the people that I would recommend, and I think that the expectation, between the staff and them should be, you've got these, now we're going to facilitate, this will help facilitate the movement down to, your hand. That's who I'd recommend it to. I don't certainly think someone right out of the hospital, right after a stroke, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but maybe somewhere that's a little bit more out of it and had the ability to get these recovered. And maybe you've already recovered those. But you have to have recovery of this and this, I think, for this really to work. That's my opinion.
Would you say I'm going off script here, but would you say there's a certain personality that works well with the device, or like a certain mindset that works to?
I think you have to be determined. And I think you have to be very determined and realize that there's going to be some glitches. It's a new product, new program, that your deficit, I hate to keep seeing deficits negative, but your effect of the stroke is different from everybody else, and they're trying to tweak it to help you. And maybe how they have to work it for you might be different for somebody else. And someone with patience and, quite honest, I just think a desire to get well, to do whatever you need to do to get well. However,
who do you think would most benefit?
I think you're going to have someone with a really good, positive win attitude, because there is frustration when you're not getting, you as the patient, the desired results. Someone with a lot of patience and just the fortitude, to appreciate the staff and what they're doing and try to work with them and give extremely honest feedback. This either is working or I'm frustrated or whatever. I think a go-getter. If you're thinking that things are just going to come back without you working for it, this is not it for you. It's not for you. You're going to be disappointed. As a staff, it's going to be disappointing.
What do you think we can change to make the device better?
I think it's going to have to be customized for the person. Like in my case, you did customize it. You turned it upside down, and that gave me the support to be able to put the piece on myself, which was the problem before. Because as a stroke survivor, you want to be independent of others as quickly as you can. Or I'm speaking for myself, I did. And you did adapt that for me. But really, if I could have put the arm back the way the old one was, I could have donned the piece easier. But I've still got so much spasticity in this area that it was hard. It was hard for me, and then it just, up in the frustration, I wasn't seeing any immediate results. But I think over time, maybe it would have came around, and maybe just a little bit more customization, and maybe I related to one girl that was awesome, Brandy. If I could just have that constant contact and feedback with her, I think that had been, I felt like I had maybe too many people to kind of try to make happy or accommodate. Just a direct contact. Although Brandy was an engineer, and then you've got Nick, who is a physical therapist, which you need really almost
clap again one time. Okay.
And my experience with the staff it's been awesome. I really feel like they're my friends, almost part of my family, because they've been so good. They're so genuine. And there was one of the staff, Brandy, that really, really went out of her way to communicate and check on me and that type of thing. They're very knowledgeable. They tried very, very hard to customize the equipment to my needs, to my personality, to what I was trying to do. And they were very patient. They were willing to hear me and listen to me. It was an extremely awesome experience and an opportunity. I'm very, very grateful for it.